All my niggas ride for me. I got niggas that'll die for me. You niggas ain't built like that. Run around talking like a thug when you won't bust a slug, man. Niggas get killed like that. Acting like you bang for the set when you ain't blood or cuz, man. Blood'll get spilled like that. Niggas saying really they the plug, but they talking to the judge, man. Get your cap peeled like that, cause niggas get killed like that. When you ain't built like that, you niggas ain't built like that. You was never on the block, you ain't never dodge a knock. You ain't never fought another crew holding down the park. You ain't swam with the sharks, you ain't wrestled with the gators. You was never fucking popping, you ain't got no fucking haters. Bitch, niggas like you make me watch out for the traitors. When you round some real niggas, mind your behavior. I will beat a nigga ass, then I'm laughing like I'm Jada. Get your fucking mind blown like a cartridge on a Sega. You niggas want attention, they don't want the war though. Talking all that shit, but you got a glass jaw. Ho, they never deliver. They got that DiGiorno. This that Walking Dead flow. I eat a rapper torso. You ain't the same man once you off the microphone. You ain't never broke a bone. You ain't never had a scar. You a certified pussy, so don't make me pull your car. I'm a certified prophet, respected like the word of God. Cause you ain't got the heart, nigga. You ain't got the heart. You ain't bout to finish any beef that you start. You ain't never been a soldier, little nigga, play your part. Claiming that you'll spark when you ain't got the heart. Cause you niggas ain't built like that. Run around talking like a thug when you won't bust a slug, man. Niggas get killed like that. Acting like you bang for the set when you ain't blood or cuz, man. Blood'll get spilt like that. Niggas saying really they the plug, but they talking to the judge, man. Get your cap peeled like that, cause niggas get killed like that. When you ain't built like that. Run around talking like a thug when you won't bust a slug, man. Niggas get killed like that. Acting like you bang for the set when you ain't blood or cuz, man. Blood'll get spilled like that. Niggas saying really they the plug, but they talking to the judge, man. Get your cap peeled like that, cause niggas get killed like that. All my niggas ride for me. All my niggas ride with me. I got niggas that'll die for me. All my niggas ride with me. You niggas ain't.
Yeah. Go ahead. Come on, West. Go ahead. Go ahead. Rockin' this shit. Yeah. Go ahead. Look, I keep it low to the T. UBK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother way. Tell him get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Nigga, come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. Man, this shit is too easy. I'm on go, but they don't believe me. You know I'm winning with the team. Screaming Vinny, 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 VJ. Leave them devils screaming out bloody murder. I'm about to close the curtain. Mama grind, bitch, and work. Sorry, all them lies, it ain't working. Them niggas weak, cause they be churchin'. I'm a West nigga, that's for certain. If he cross the line, I'ma back up and I'ma hit his ass with this virus. And I come through 300 strong, 144 Leonidas. All my niggas we eat. I'm in this bitch with the itis. Say all y'all do the sweet. Tell y'all to do the sweet. If a nigga made the wrong move, he make his ass out the lead. He ain't one of us hit the lead. He ain't one of us here preach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Go ahead. Look, I keep it low to the T. UBK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother wave. Tell him get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us, he a breach, nigga. Come through all black gully jack, man, all them niggas gon' retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man, all them niggas gon' retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us, he a breach. Come through all black gully jack, man, all them niggas gon' retreat.
You see this look that's on my face, bitch, I'm for real with it. I hit the streets, put on my cleats, was in the field with it. You soft as cotton, just an actor, Uncle Phil with it. And then my target's on the move, bitch, I can still hit it. Hey, I speak true cause it's necessary. Gullah Jack revolutionary. Cold on them like January. Commander Jenner is a visionary. Soul food, no sweets. Your preacher man, he's sweet. Matter of fact, he weak. It's wartime for peace. Think you hard, nigga, you ain't. Fuck with us, nigga, you can't. You smart cars, we tanks. We form up in ranks. We body bag this rap shit. All black, no bright shit. Real life, no cap, bitch. Fall on them, that's cap shit.
I keep it low to the T. UBK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet, got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother wave. Tell him get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us, he a breach, nigga. Come through all black gully jack, man, all them niggas gon' retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man, all them niggas gon' retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us, he a breach. Come through all black gully jack, man, all them niggas gon' retreat. Go ahead.
According to God, the white man is the devil.
It's been here for a little minute. You know what I'm saying? And I see niggas, they like to talk loud, they like to claim leadership, they like to claim this and that. You know what I'm saying? They like to be above what they really is and have authority. But they don't really need that authority, they don't really know what to do with that leadership. You understand? You hold hands with this white man, need to stop it, ask you to give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up to serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. See, everybody ain't with all that peace talk, everybody ain't with all that let bygone be. Boy, ass need to stop it, ass need to profit. It's about to get serious. When they hit us with dope and kill us with crack, where the fuck with your leaders? I'm curious. Oh, he cashed out on your blood, traded you in and bought a new biz. Ask you the prophets, I tell you the scheme. If you don't wake up, you gon' die in your dreams. I say you won't tell you no more. I swear these crackers try to kill us slow. Just spoke to a nigga and fed it, up for parole. Because of the COVID, it feel like the host in this world that don't go together. Know it's gold in the ghetto. I'm in the city blazing with my niggas. Just told the devil the score never settle. Yeah, see the prophets. I'm tired of these niggas keep talking about, you know, you respect my religion, I respect your religion. Boy, your ass need to stop it, ass need the prophets. You know, like we all come together. Cause you know what I'm saying, they say God so loved the world. God so loved the world and know boy, your ass need to stop it, ass need the prophets. Don't give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up to serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. Hey, Jeremiah, we don't pray on our knees, nigga. Gotta stand up. You know what I'm saying? Boy, your ass need to stop it, ass shit. Oh, I'm with step on the side of the show to the fake niggas. Stay silent, I got it, let's go, let's go. I ain't taking no losses, ain't no talking when we got the flow. Ain't no peace, just pay with your own. I'ma be loyal to the right arm. Tell him we can't keep it slave. And I can never let bygone be bygone. Got your baby mother on high, got your baby pass through the fire. Ain't she the prophets? That baby so belong to the Lord. How dare you abort it? Devil will failure, bitch, I can afford it. I prepare slaughter, you bring me my water. Plus your leaders weak, let them lies slip through their teeth. Their ass need to stop it, ass she the prophets.
That's just the reality, Christians. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings. I know your pastor lied to you every Sunday for 30 years, but that's what the church is for, lying. That's why they exist, to lie the money out of your pockets.
Your ass need to stop it, ass she the prophets. Give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up to serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Gotta stand up to serve my God. We
Any man give his life for Yahweh Shai, Mashiach, and Christ, and fall up under that UPK banner.
All jokes aside, you know how niggas be like, I'm this and that for life, this and that for life. I'm on West for life, nigga, this is blood oath. Hey, yo, Madara, here go a class for you, my nigga. 140 for the rebel. The world turned its back on me. I'm a crippling. We got soldiers, he got soldiers, but I got different ones. Ain't no way out, I tell you once. Don't pray for nothing, sin and curse. We can't forgive what's forbidden. Remain in them trenches. Trust in the Lord, but please forgive me for the times that I did. If rank is given, have your respect to your prince. Be about your business. This loyalty's a death sentence. Look, trying to pick up with a blind field. They said there'll be many mansions. I'm just grinding for my time share. Them devils ain't playing fair. They hunt you like Van Pelt, but ain't no getting out the game like Jumanji. You take that oath, it's a Dundee. Try to deal death to a priest, you won't make it out in one piece. So you can stand, just make sure you got the heart. Say your name 3 times, then it's death do us part. So how you feel about this truth I done shown you? This ain't the life you think, nigga, I should want. Even your own people go disown. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Ain't no more guessing, ain't no more questions. Make sure my election till I'm tucked away like George Jetson. Murder for capital, now it's murder at the Capitol. The world in amazement, we like fuck 'em, raise it. I pity those watching life as it go by. Be giving mercy in this life, I don't know why. In puff smoke, never try to. The dead at home, my brother be the dead and sold out on. Either fold or salute, my nigga. They like, how you stay focused? I told them I'm motivated cause of you, my nigga. Brotherhoods and weapons, still got weapons on the scene. Now never do my niggas like Bishop did Raheem. Never mind in all beliefs, they under anesthesia. Shorty say she need me, said she wanna let that love go. Told I let that love grow. But if I bring you to my bed, that's a blood oath. Know what it is, man. So, how you feel about this truth I done shown you? This ain't the life you think, little nigga, I should want. Even your own people go disown. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Yeah.
Any man give his life for Yahweh Shai, Mashiach, and Christ, and fall up under that UPK banner. It's my brother and my blood, and I will die and kill for him if necessary.
Go to ground, 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 go to ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground, 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 take ground. My soldiers take ground till them stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground. My soldiers take ground till them stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground. Nah, this ain't no movement, this a takedown.
Hey, one more question is real. And it's that time again. Here at Isupk Indianapolis, stood out of one West, on the 21st Street, Harlem, New York, undercommitted to their house. And our mission is to teach blacks, Hispanics, and Indians who they are according to the Bible, and that the oppressor is the goddamn devil about to speak so.
Right.
And you know, got my right hand man as always, man. Dad, what's going on? How you feeling?
But
Yeah, damn right. Damn right. Let's get it in, man. Today's class is this topic. Weak leadership will get you killed. You understand? Weak leadership is what leads you to your doom. You understand? And that's what today's class topic is. That's what we're gonna go into, man. And with that being said, let's rock it out. That's right.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 31, and verse 1. Now the Philistines fought against Israel.
Fought against who?
Against Israel.
Well, nigga, we African American. That's why would we be fighting against, our own brothers, right?
The Philistines fought against Israel.
Let me tell you something, black, Hispanic, and Indian, man. We are not the same as these goddamn dirty, stinking Africans, man.
Right.
We are different people, man. We're more, listen, it is 2021, man. If you don't know that your bloodline is different from the goddamn Hamites, then it is a problem. You understand? It is a problem. There is no way or shape or form that you can really believe that you are these people. All that Kemet community bullcrap and chemoswallology and conscious community, that shit's a joke. You understand? Them Africans, why, let me ask you something. Why ain't no Africans in that community?
Right.
In the conscious community and the Kemet community, why ain't there no real Africans? Why is this always one of us talking about we are African and making up some fake African roots that can't be traced?
Not enough urine mass in the conscious community.
Right.
Not enough cow in this world in the conscious community.
Right. You feel me? Like they ain't doing nothing. They ain't talking about nothing. You know what this is?
It's like I said real quick.
Yeah, right.
You understand? Like these Hamites, you understand, the children of Ham, they've always sought to seek war against the children of Israel. You understand? Especially when you look through the book of, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, it's always us warring against a Hamitic nation. And it's the same thing that's going on today. You understand? When you see those, Africans in your corner stores that are, overcharging you on just the littlest of things and pumping drugs into our communities, like that's another form of war that these other nations rage against us. And it's something that we gotta come to a realization of, and the only way to do that is to stop following these so-called Christian leaders, the so-called, Muslims or conscious individuals within our communities, because they don't prepare us for war, or they don't show us how it is that these nations are truly doing us wrong. These cats in the world will say the enemy of my enemy is my friend, but at the same time they would never join to a Hispanic or Native Indian.
Right. Right. And the proof is in the pudding, man. We have been out here dying. We have been being murdered, slaughtered, you name it. The worst ways to die out here, we are the ones dying that way. You understand? Why ain't our leaders telling us, man? Why ain't they here to help us? We get to that later on in the scriptures. Yeah.
And it's like, I just wanted to add something real quick.
Right.
So when it says the Philistines fought against Israel, like the Philistines ain't the only nation. You had the Egyptians, you had the Cushites, you understand? You had the goddamn
Emirates.
Amorites. Who was the cast that was born with Liberia? You remember what nation that was? Damn, I don't remember which nation it was, but you had the Hamites over there that was warring with Liberia, which was made up of, brothers and sisters that came from America that fled over into Africa from the United States, thinking they'd be free.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These people have always been at war with us, and it's something that we just turn a blind eye to. That we, say, oh, well, that's how we are as people. When that's not our people. That's just like our oppressor doing all the things he does to us. He's not our people. That's like what a Arab or East Indian is doing to us. They are our people, but yet they are still doing these different tactics of war when it comes to our nation. And it's the same thing that they were doing back then throughout these scriptures.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These nations all have a history of hating us and fighting and murdering us, but it's something that we choose to ignore.
Right. And I got a question if I could on that. Why is it that, like you said, these other nations, they got a history of killing, raping, murder, and robbing us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But our so-called leaders, and not just, our Christian leaders, but being that we are oppressed, we have the leadership of these heathens as well, the oppressors, you know what I'm saying? These Edomites, you know what I'm saying? Esau, we are under his command as well. And my thing is this, why come they always push forward for us to somehow forgive all the transgressions of everybody else and come together with, the Chinese, they come together with the African, they come together with the white man, they come together with every other nation. Why come we are always urged to come together with every other nation, but we're never urged to come together with more black people?
Right.
We're never urged to come together with our Indian brothers.
Right.
We're never urged to come together with our Hispanic brothers. We're never urged to do that. In fact, it's totally opposite. We're urged to stay the hell away from one another. Don't link up with the Messiahs. Don't link up with the Indians. The Indians are savages. You know what I'm saying? But nobody has been more savage than the oppressor. I just want to make that very clear. That's all I want to say.
And the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines and fell down slain in Mount Gilboa. Verse 2.
And if you could, right before you go in, would you please take that from the top again?
Okay. Book of 1 Samuel, chapter 31 and verse 1. Now the Philistines fought against Israel.
Right. And at the time when this fight was going on, King Saul was the king of Israel. You understand? He was the king of the blacks, Hispanics, and Indians at the time. Keep on.
And the men of Israel fled.
They did what?
Fled.
They did who?
Fled
Keep on.
from before the Philistines and fell down slain in Mount Gilboa.
And fell down slain, man. Let me tell you something, man. The reason that transpired like that is because the reason we were destroyed back then by these filthy Hamites is because we were not following, well, let me rephrase that. The leader that we were following back then was not following the law, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
You understand? King Saul did not listen to the Lord, so therefore the Lord was no longer with King Saul. You understand? And by you following King Saul, we were following King Saul. You know what I'm saying? Like we did what he said. We wanted to be, we wanted to be well. But at the end of the day, if you know he's not serving the Lord and the Lord is not with him, then you set yourself up for failure.
Right.
And they end up slain. They end up dying. They end up being murdered. They were chased down. They tried to run. They chased them down and killed them. And the reason that happened is what's more because the Lord was not with Saul. Saul had became a weak leader. How did he become a weak leader? Because he stopped following the Most High.
Right.
He didn't want to listen to the Most High. The Most High gave him an order. He disobeyed it. That's when you become a weak leader. If you want to know why there's so much killing going on in your Christian church, why every time you look up somebody in your Christian church, son died, you know what I'm saying, their daughter's missing, all this wicked stuff that's transpiring in the Christian church, I'm going to make it very simple. Because the Lord is not with that Christian pastor.
Right.
The Lord is not with that Christian pastor. That is a wicked place. He is a wicked man. And the wickedness is going to continue to happen until we come into the Isupk again and we make a journey out of that.
Right.
The true priest and prophets of the Lord, man. You understand? Prime example. Why did David kill Goliath? You know what I'm saying? And not only did he kill Goliath, but the whole Hamite army was afraid of him. They was running from David. They wasn't running from Saul. They chasing him down. King David was kicking their butt, man. They didn't know what to do. They were like, how can we kill this man? How can we stop him? You couldn't, because the Lord was with him. You understand? And when the Lord is not with you, like the scripture says, you're going to flee from the enemies. It's this point.
Verse 2. And the Philistines followed hard upon Saul and upon his sons. And the Philistines slew Jonathan and Abinadab, right? And Melchishua, Saul's sons. Verse 3. And the battle went sore against Saul, and the archers hit him, and he was sore wounded of the archers. Verse 4. Then said Saul unto his armor bearer, draw thy sword, and thrust me through therewith, lest these uncircumcised come and thrust me through, and abuse me. But his armor bearer would not, for he was sore afraid. Therefore Saul took a sword and fell upon it.
Now, if I could, unless you want something real quick. I was about to say, let me tell you something, man. That is a demon for you to be afraid. For you to have that kind of fear. You understand? That is not what warfare is about. You gotta accept the fact that if you're in the middle of war, that you might die. You understand? It's an old saying that old people used to say, it ain't no fun when a rabbit got the gun. What that means is this. It's you big and bad as long as the numbers favor you. As long as the numbers are in your favor. But let me tell you something, Israel. The Lord don't deal with numbers. The numbers have never been in our favor, man. All of our enemies are always outnumbered. Why? Because all of our enemies are always teamed up. All these other nations, they can fight amongst themselves, right? But the second that we become involved, the second that Israel is on the map, all of other nations will team up to fight against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Right.
You understand? So the numbers have never been in our favor, ever. You get what I'm saying? And King David, King Saul, right? He's running, he's afraid, and he tried to take his own life. He tried to take his own life. Listen, you think the Lord, what do you think? What do you think the Lord seen when he seen that? The Lord said, look at this tower.
Right.
Seriously. Look at this government right here. That is not what we do, man. If you serve the Lord and you fighting for the Lord, then guess what? You die in the name of the Lord, man. That's what you do. You die in the name of the Lord. Before me and my brothers die a coward, before we live a coward, we gonna die soldiers. We ain't taking our lives. My enemy's gonna have to kill me. And guess what? It ain't gonna be easy because I'm taking out as many of them as I possibly can before they get me. You understand? And I'll show you something else, man. A true act of brotherhood was when he asked his sword bearer to thrust him through. What did he tell him? He said no. He told him no. I'm not gonna kill you. Why? Because he is a brother, man. You don't kill your brother. What kind of stuff is that? Just kill me. Okay. No problem. That's somebody that don't have love for another black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, man.
Right.
How can you take your brother's life? You understand? You can't do that, man. That is unbrotherly. That is against what the Lord hates, man. Man, listen, we be in a war, something happened to me, something happened to my dad. What are you gonna say? Trust me, I'm like, hell no. He can't move, guess who ain't going nowhere? Me.
Right.
We gonna die right here. We taking out as many of them as we can. We gonna die together. I'm not about to thrust him. What am I gonna thrust him through and then take off running?
Right.
You goddamn coward. You don't leave your brother. No, I'm a dragon. We can't move, I'm a dragon. We gonna get away or we gonna die fighting. Those are the only options. Saul turned into a coward at the end of his death, man. This is me reading this, that's what I see. I see a coward. They're gonna get me. They're gonna do horrible things to my body. Who gives a damn? You're dead anyway.
Right.
Die fighting. Die fighting. Die serving your God. I'll tell you one thing, that's what them damn terrorists do. They strap body bombs on. And, you know, they're gonna blow some stuff up and take themselves with them. That's the spirit that let me rephrase that. That's the spirit that we need. And I don't mean to go blow ourselves up. I mean the spirit of a warrior that's willing to die for what you believe in.
Right.
Don't fight for what you believe in as long as you can win. You gotta be willing to die for it too. You was willing to kill for it. If you're willing to kill for anything, right? If you're willing to kill for your family, you're willing to die for your wife, that needs to be the same thought process. If I'm gonna kill for my wife, I die for it.
Right.
I kill for the truth. I'm gonna die for it. I'm gonna kill for my brothers and I'm gonna die for them. That needs to be the same spirit. I ain't gonna turn coward at the end. And remember how you said you'll die for this? Well, now's that day. Nah, I'll change my mind. I don't want to die. That is one of the most selfish things. Listen, to me, that's selfish. That's one thing that I never, ever, ever wanted in this life, even before the truth, was to die coward, to die begging, to die pleading. To die pleading, please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Listen, that's going to make somebody want to kill you more. This coward, he don't deserve to live.
Right.
He don't deserve to live. And apparently, he cherishes his life like it's some precious thing. You get what I'm saying? But Saul, he was different. He wanted to die. He wanted to die because he didn't want them to do it. He didn't want to die by the hands of his enemies, right? He wanted to die by the hands of his brother. That don't sound brotherly to me. I just don't. Did that sound brotherly to you? Maybe I'm missing something.
That's the same as him saying, please don't kill me.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. That's what he's telling his enemies. Please don't kill me. Please spare me. You do it. Don't shoot me. I want him to do it. Look, come on with that cowardice.
It's like if I could have real quick, you know what I'm saying? Like during this time and, through a lot of the time in these scriptures, like King Saul, he had the same spirit as a Christian pastor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Someone who doesn't want to face the hardships of leading the children of Israel. That's why so many Christian pastors have turned their backs on blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
Right.
And why it is they would much rather, get a fat paycheck check than it would be, suffering in the trenches with our people. That's why when COVID first started, so-called Christian leaders, so-called Muslim mosques, they shut their doors on our people.
They shut down before the government told them to.
Right. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want to face those hardships. Now, just imagine our oppressor coming against them. Well, of course, they came against them before and they folded, which we all know of. But imagine them coming against them in a, more severe kind of way.
Right.
And threatening their lives. Like how, Martin Luther King, that was one of the biggest traitors to our people that, that's like damn near top 5, top 10 in the nation of Israel.
So for me, that's like, how you like 1A and 1B, like that's where he's at. It's like 2A and 2B. I don't know too many people before him. Maybe Judas, I guess. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like he is definitely a traitor. As to the priest and prophets of the Lord in the Isupk, we look at him as an absolute traitor for all blacks, Hispanics, and
instead of him facing, the real hardships, it's like for a Christian, it's easy to go through a little pain if it means that, our oppressor will love you. If it means that the people that look like your God is going to, somewhat accept you, even if you got to go through a little, discrimination in restaurants or bus stations. That's an easy thing. It's much harder to not only support a nation, but to support them to the point to where you decide that you will not hold on, bringing up the well-being of your people. You understand? That's something that so-called Christian, that's something that Christian leaders did, back there in the 60s, is they compromised our people so that they could have a better life. So that they wouldn't have to face those hardships of, they might have to gather, transportation, so my people get tuned from the slaves. I gotta gather income. I gotta, find out who has these skills to create businesses. I gotta acquire food and drinking water, make protection for our communities. I gotta do all these things. It's too goddamn hard to do all that other stuff.
Listen, I'd rather just get this check over here
Yeah.
and turn you over to them.
Yeah, it's much easier.
Because
Because
he probably he was going to take care of me.
right. You understand? It's much easier to just tell the people, hey, look, all we gotta do, right? Check this out. What we gotta do, we gotta do a little marching,
Right.
a little boycotting. We're gonna get beat, but it's nothing new. We can handle a little beating, and we're gonna be taken care of.
And here's something else we're going to have to do. We're going to have to give up all that stuff that we have.
Right.
I know we got our own buses, our own water fountains, our own schools, our own banks, our own businesses. But listen, we got to be equal to them.
Right.
And we can get equal. We just got to give up all our stuff and make them accept us. Somehow we're going to make them accept us. And it still hasn't happened.
Right.
It didn't happen back here. It didn't happen here in the scriptures. It ain't happening now. The same thing that happened to King Saul is the same thing that we experience now. Our leaders begging, please don't kill me.
Right.
Please don't kill me. That's what the marches is. Them hands up, don't shoot. Please don't shoot me. Hands up, don't shoot. Please don't kill me. Black Lives Matter. Please don't kill me. What is the proof of this? No other nation has to do it. No other nation goes out here and protests. I think that Asians did one little measly little protest around the world, right? But here's the funny part. And when I say funny, I mean sad. It was more black people out there than it was Asians. The fight for what Asians eat, the fight for what Asians got going on. But here's the sad part. And when I mean sad, I mean disgusting. That when all of this protesting and all this other things was going on for Black lives, how many Asians did you see out there? None. None. They didn't fight for you one time, Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian man, and then we put all our eggs in the basket for them. That is what leadership gives you. It gives you a reason to fight for your enemy, not against them.
Right. And if I could,
Yeah, right.
Martin Luther King is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, right.
So he even said himself, I'm afraid I've integrated my people into a burning house.
Right.
Like, I don't understand how you can follow a man after he says that.
And he tried to say it secretly too. That wasn't even meant to go public.
Yeah, right.
He should have said that shit public so we all could have heard it.
Right.
Hey, y'all, I'm messed up. He should have been like, I'm messed up. The oppressor is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of. Let's get these black bases back opened up ASAP.
Right.
That's what he should have did. He should have tried to save a little bit of integrity instead of saying that privately, but then continuing to go down the path that he was going down. Please don't kill me. Please, we need your love so bad. Get out of here, you coward. You understand? And that's why the Lord saw fit to put them in the death, man. Because he was destroying us. And if he could, I would like to pull the scripture real quick so we can get back into who's that. This is Jeremiah 23 and 32. Behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, saith the Lord. And I do tell them, and do tell them, and cause my people to err by their lies and by their likeness. Yet I send them not, nor command them. Therefore ye shall not profit this people at all, saith the Lord. That goes into what Bangad just brought up. Would it following people like Martin Luther King bring us, man? Nothing. Just like the brothers that followed King Saul into this war. What did it profit them? Nothing.
Right.
King Saul was a Christian. King Saul was Martin Luther King by this time. You understand? And I don't mean that in the sense that he was a Christian. Let me put it that way. Which means that he followed the philosophy of, I'm going to serve the Lord in my own way.
Right.
I'm not going to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? I'm going to do the things that benefit me. I'm going to do the things that I think I can prosper from. Because that is a Christian spirit. You understand? What's the proof of that? He wasn't running from David. When David was running from him, King Saul chased him as far as he could possibly chase him.
Right.
And he wanted to kill David for what? For nothing. For nothing. But here these Hamites are, they invading your lands, they're killing your people, they're raping your women, They're disrespecting your God. They're doing the most blasphemous things that you could possibly think of. And instead of you fighting to the death, you running. You wanted to fight David to the death. You wanted to fight your brother to the death.
Right.
But when it comes to your real enemy, you running from them. Who does that sound like in today's time? That is a Christian. That is exactly what Christians do. They will fight blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to the death. They will fight them to the death. They're going to spin the block. They make songs about it all the time. I just heard this rapper, man, and I know brothers going to be mad at me when I bring this up, but I never paid attention to who King Von was. I heard about him. I knew about the little beef. He got gunned down for being disrespectful. And I'll tell you one thing. I did not know how disrespectful that brother was. That brother was truly disrespectful. Hey, he was saying some stuff. I heard 2 songs. After I heard the first 2 songs, I said, it's not a mystery why they killed him. But I'll tell you one thing. Had he had been beefing with another nation or an oppressor, he would have been that disrespectful. He would have shown mercy.
Good. It's funny you say that because it was brought out not too long ago on, I think it was Blackwash News, Mary Juliana's podcast and radio show.
Right.
Joe Muhammad brought out how, King Von made a song where basically he called, a lesbian a derogatory term.
Right.
And he ended up censoring like that in all of his songs. And it's just funny because, someone who is such a killer that is viewed as being hardcore in the streets, you can't even stand up to the LGBTQ community. Like,
Hey, they was the real gangsters.
Right.
Yeah.
and that's one of the destructive things that Christianity has pushed on society, just like in our communities, Black, Hispanic, Native Indian communities, is to basically just submit and accept any nation or organization that is trying to assert their authority over you.
Right.
When that's not what the Lord would have wanted for us to do as people.
Damn right. Damn right. And that's happy that you brought that up. I must have missed that because I showed you in that part. But it's crazy though, because everybody right now, I just came across a little clip where it says the baby apologized for the remarks that he made about.
I think he took his apology back.
Yeah, he took it back. But here's the thing: why did he do it in the first place? Like, you stand on everything else. You stand on if somebody disrespects you, you're gonna shoot them all in the face. That you're not just a rapper. You about everything that you talk about. But the second that you said something, you hurt the homosexual community feelings. You apologize to them, but you ain't never apologized to that dude that you said that you screwed his wife 20,000 times and made a song about.
Right. I could real quick. And the only reason a brother or sister would do such thing, such as come against the LGBTQ community, come against white society, come against any organization that seeks to destroy our people and bring us down low, is because they've been watching the Isupk of Mary Juliana.
Yeah, right.
Because we teach our people to have a sense of integrity, to teach them to stand on something and to not falter no matter what. You understand? The Isupk has such integrity that we would much rather die than not only turn our back on our God, but to turn our back on our people. You understand? Our leader of the school, when the school was first being created, Abba Livens, you understand, a mighty man was beaten to death by goddamn Muslims,
Right.
bricks. You understand? Instead of him sitting there folding, saying, I love Allah, or that rock is
I didn't mean it.
Right.
Please don't kill me.
Right. You know what I'm saying? He would have much rather been beaten to death with some goddamn Allahs. You know what I'm saying? With a bunch of rocks.
Right.
And I pray that brother rises again.
Yeah, right. You understand? And I pray all of his enemies are destroyed.
Right.
You understand? That's what we about. And this we about our enemies being destroyed. Man. There is no in between. There is no coming together. There is no, you know, what Kevin Carr say, I respect your religion, you respect mine. Man, F your religion. F what you represent, man. There's only one true God, and that's the God of Israel. And here's the kicker. Everybody knows it.
Right.
Everybody knows it. That's why everybody wants to be you, black, Hispanic, and Indian, man. You understand? Don't turn into no goddamn Christian.
Real quick. I said the point you brought out, this Commander General Hunter brought that out on Cross the Line Radio, hosted by Captains Tazaria and Kataza, of how it is that these other nations, they know who the real God of this earth is. And more recently, to show you that they do, look at what the East Indians were doing when they were dropping like goddamn, you know, I don't want to say, what's some of the drops more flies?
Right.
They were dropping like raindrops. They were sitting there throwing their gods, their statues, and yeah, their idols with like little displays for their gods. They were throwing all that into their rivers. You understand? Getting rid of all of it because they knew that their gods.
Are you talking about their little shrines?
Yeah, their shrines. They were throwing their shrines into the rivers because they knew that their gods were not real. They knew that they could not protect them from the true power of the Most High God of Israel.
Yeah, right. Damn right, man. And with that being said, if I could, and that's why I don't, like, when I say this, I'm not saying this to sound arrogant or whatever. That's why we here in the UK, we don't worry about nothing because we know as long as we serve the Most High Christ, nothing can touch us.
Right.
But the Most High Christ will protect us. He will protect us. The reason their God didn't protect them is their God ain't real. It don't matter how much they wanted to serve him, he's not real.
Right.
Look at the Christian church. It don't matter how much you want to serve white Jesus and white God. He's not real.
Real quick, say, that's heavy. You brought that up. You gotta remember, them East Indians, they be rubbing pure blood on their face to serve their gods. They be taking cow dung baths to serve their gods, thinking they protect them from COVID-19. But at the end of the day,
He's spreading it like a bug.
at the end of the day, they knew, hey, this ain't it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Our gods, they can't be real because they're not protecting us.
Right.
And that's something that brothers and sisters who are Christian or Muslim should realize is that the gods you serve do not protect you from this hell inside of America,
Right.
from this hell in South America. And if that devil god or that dumb rock were really some powerful entity out here, they would be able to change your life and be able to protect you from, you know, the hells in this world. But at the end of the day, we've been oppressed for over 400 years. And not once has some rock opened its goddamn mouth and tried to protect our people. And so, but the Lord, the Most High Power of Israel, has sent priests and prophets to raise up the children of Israel, to show us how it is that we're supposed to conduct ourselves and how it is that we can survive in these lands.
If I could, I like to do the scripture. Because like one thing that we do, and this is the sad part, when I say sad, I mean effed up. That we want to give every false idol and everything else a chance. We see them with shrines, guess what we do? We make shrines. We see them worshiping rocks, guess what we do? We worship rocks. We see them say there is no God, guess what we do?
Right.
We say there's no God. We follow everybody custom and everybody religions. We follow all that stuff. But what you never do is you never follow your own laws, statutes, and commandments, man. And that is such a wicked thing. That is a demon on us, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. That is a demon that the demon is this, that we want to be accepted by everybody else but our own and our Lord. We want to be accepted by white Jesus, but we gotta say black Jesus like that's the anomaly.
Right.
That's not the anomaly. That's not the funny. That's not the crazy part. The crazy part is white Jesus. When you hear the oppressor talks about Jesus, he don't say, "Here, Lord, white Jesus." He don't say that. We be like, man, black Jesus, like he ain't supposed to be black.
Right.
No, he's not supposed to be the oppressor. That's the problem. He's supposed to look like us. Everybody else, God looks like them, except for us, black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, man, because we follow these false religions. When you follow Buddha, Buddha don't look like you, black man. When you follow the Hindu God don't look like you, black man. And then you're programmed by these religions to say it ain't about looks, it ain't about color, it ain't about blood, it ain't about this. That only pertains to you. Go ahead, man.
Like, if I could, real quick, I know we're getting rid of the scriptures and everything, but I just want to add how you said these guys don't look like us. And so not only do they not look like us, but they don't act like us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For brothers and sisters who think they can join, you know, Egyptology or be Kemetic, you know what I'm saying? Those gods in that belief system, like, they're sucking on their own rocks. You understand? They're out there molesting other men and raping other men.
And kids.
Like, that's really something that you want to teach our youth. Teach your children to believe in a God who puts his own rod in his mouth, shoot his seed in there, and then create all of life. That's really what you want to believe. That's really something you want to push on our youth.
And if I could, he said, they put their own rod in their mouth, shoot the seed, then spit it out, and then somehow turn around and say, you know, when the black woman is God, the black woman is God. She didn't need us to create nothing.
It's like, if I could.
Like, that's just
No, I just want to add just off of that you said, like, that's funny that they say that, because at the same time, they'll say that our origins as like a species is from a great ape.
Right.
Like, shit, like Katazar said, you know, a few years back, shouldn't the great ape be these people's God?
Right. Should the great ape be God?
You understand?
That's where we come from?
Shouldn't you be going to the zoo and praising the gorillas up in the goddamn cages?
There should be one gorilla in the zoo ever. Get my God out of that cage.
Feel me?
Right?
There should be uproar across all of Africa to
Right.
free their gods.
Yeah, right, man. And the reason we do that is because we are destroyed. And I'm going to read it in the scripture, man. This is what the scripture says. This is Jeremiah 10:2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be dismayed, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. That's all I need to do is that part. For the customs of his people is vain. And then this also goes into talking about, you know, this is what we use to break down the Christmas scriptures, as a matter of fact. That's what that goes into. And all of that stuff is heathen and paganistic customs, man. Like I said, I know we got weird things left field, but that's what happens when you're out here and you go down a rabbit hole. Because, you know, our main goal, every class, man, is to make sure that we raise up blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And I'll tell you one thing, as we say this every goddamn class, that our goal is to raise up blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. I never heard a Christian pastor say that.
Right.
I never heard a Christian pastor say, my goal is to raise you up. My goal is to make you mighty. My goal is to make sure that you're okay in life, that you know how to conduct and carry yourself and do great things in your life. I've never heard a Christian pastor say that. And I'll tell you why, because that's not his goal. His goddamn goal is to get the money out your pockets.
Right.
And to sleep with your wife and your kids. That's his goal. He don't give a damn about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? His main goal is please don't kill me, Mr. Oppressor.
Right.
He don't fear the Lord like that, but he fears the oppressor.
Right.
It shows you the wickedness of this nation, man, and the weakness of our leaders. And we follow them, and we follow right behind them, that's what's going to happen to us. We're going to die the same wicked ass death that they died. We're going to be right next to them. You don't understand that when it comes to gang violence, you know, little Draco Drew got a hit out on him. You don't have to hang around him because niggas is looking for him. The other nigga that made a whole song about spinning the block. And when you see Draco Drew, he's killing him and whoever's with him. You understand the thing, and you don't hang out with him. You get what I'm saying? But let me tell you something. Ain't nobody more gangster than the Lord. Hey, listen, he got a song. He got songs too. It's called, the songs of Solomon. You know what I'm saying? And he got songs about it too. What happens when you disrespect him? He gonna spin the block too, and he wiping everybody out. He taking out everybody who's with him. Everybody he brought that helm. Everybody that smelt it and ate some, he getting wiped out with Draco Drew too. Right. You understand? You gotta come back to these all sections of the
Right.
That's all I'm looking for there, man.
Verse 5. And when his armor bearer saw that Saul was dead, he fell likewise upon his sword and died with him. I just want to add real quick. It's like this scripture, along with many other scriptures, like it shows you that being a coward is something that is contagious within our communities.
Yeah, I'm right.
It's because we see how it is that our leaders have sold out, how it is that they would much rather, not go through hardships for our people, and we try to mimic that as a people. That's exactly why this brother fell on his sword, because he was sitting there thinking, well, hell, if King Saul falls on his sword, why is it that I can't fall on mine?
Like you said, that cowardice is contagious.
Right. Why is it that I can't be weak like our king was? And say, why is it that I can't be weak like Martin Luther King was and sleep with our oppressors' women? Why can't I be weak and take a little check to support my family if it means selling out my nation? Yes, and the sad thing is that this is something that has always gone on with our people. Like, our downfall is always due to weak leadership, always due to some coward being in a powerful position to influence the masses.
Yeah, that's a heavy point. If I could,
Go ahead, because I want to use scripture like this.
That is such a heavy point. Prime example, Martin Luther King. He came out, non-violent, we shall overcome. Non-violent, we shall overcome. He said in restaurants, refusing to leave until he get established. And people look at him as a leader. And when is the next thing they started doing? They started mimicking that.
Right.
You understand? And let me tell you something, man. A lot of people died. He died. And a lot of people died with him and after him. Because weak leaders will get you killed. Another prime example of that, whether you like it or not, know it or not, understand it or not, is your goddamn Christian pastor. He is absolutely weak. Let me tell you something. What's the proof of that? Where was all your Christian pastors when the Black Lives Matter movement was going on?
Right.
Your Christian pastors went out there fighting with you. Your Christian pastors went out there doing nothing for you. Your Christian pastor, every black, Hispanic, and Native Indian death that goes on in the black community through the gun violence, through the drug overdose, through anything wicked, I lay at the feet of the Christian pastor. They are weak, and therefore we die from weakness as well.
I just want to add on to not only the Black Lives Matter, march and all that, but where were the religious leaders at when Orlando Castillo got shot in front of his wife and child?
Where was the outrage?
You know what I'm saying? Where were they at when Eric Garner got choked to death for selling loose cigarettes? Where were they at when George Floyd had a knee on his neck, damn near breaking his goddamn neck? You understand? Where was they at when what's his name? The brother with the father and son rolled up on him and was jogging?
I know you're talking about that with his name.
Damn it, I can't remember the brother's name. There's so many deaths that go on with our people when, like, it involves our oppressor. You know what I'm saying? Who just goes out of their way every single time to make sure they cause some type of harm or afflict us in some kind of way. Like, as long as these religious leaders have been in power, our community should not be in the condition they are. Like, as long as they've been in power, they should have already established I don't want to say establish some kind of like diplomacy. That's really damn near what they do. But it's
if we kick my fault, I didn't even
that's
catch you
what I
out.
wanted to add.
Go ahead.
I say, but really they do diplomacy, but it's in the favor of our oppressor. That's why the ISUPK always says that these Christian leaders are just out here to fill their pockets. Because instead of them speaking up for the undesired people of this earth, for the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and saying that this isn't going to happen to us anymore, or there's going to be consequences, instead they say to these other heathen nations who rule over us, well, shoot, you give me this amount of money, you know, I'll go out here during Black Lives Matter march. I'll keep them quiet. I'll simmer the crowd so they don't destroy too much of their cities. That's what these so-called religious leaders do.
What we do, if I could,
I'm done.
if we could, we kill ourselves. That's what we do. Because they're killing themselves. They are King Saul. Kill me. But they are dying slowly. You don't see it, but they are suffering, man. They are suffering. And here's the thing, we are suffering right behind them. Like Paul God said, they haven't established nothing.
Right.
We don't have any kind of diplomacy. And if we do, it's an anything. Okay, the diplomacy should work. It didn't work. What should have happened after that is our leaders, they should have said, we will not go for it. We're going to establish a stronghold. And anything that transpires is going to be a problem. We're going to buy this whole goddamn block, this whole neighborhood. The Christian church, the Black Christian church has trillions of dollars at this point. Trillions of dollars. Listen, every black neighborhood that's run down or built up, especially in the ghettos, every black neighborhood is absolutely destroyed. You understand? But that Christian church is standing nice, big, and strong. They have the money to fix up their neighborhood, make it a gated community, and say nobody but Negroes is allowed in here. Nobody but Hispanics is allowed in here. Nobody but Native Indians is allowed in here. They have the ability to do that, but they don't. Every other nation does it. There's a gated community with the Arabs. You understand? There's a gated community with the Chinese. There's a gated community with the Koreans. There's a gated community with the Africans. And they're all in the ghettos taking all their goddamn money, but they are not your next door neighbor. They don't live next to you. They do not. They drive all the way a 2 or 3 hour commute to get to the set up shop in your neighborhood, that gas station, that chicken joint, that liquor, whatever it is. They do it, and they take all the goddamn money out of that neighborhood, send it back to their people, and go back to their gated community where their people at. And our leaders just watch us die as they beg for them. Listen, here's what our leaders do. Don't kill me, kill them. I'm on your side. What do you need me to do? This is what we suffer under, man. This is what we suffer under. You understand? Our leaders have failed us, man. That Christian church has failed us, man. Point blank period. We are out here suffering every goddamn day, man. Like I said, we have the financial stability to do it. The Christian church has been around since the 5th century. We have collected all the money. This church is out here doing triple tithes and stuff like that. They tell you to break every other law, but you follow that law of tithes. That's what the Christian church teaches. Right. They are very wealthy. But our communities where our churches are set up are very poor. And they do bare minimum. They do backpack drives. That's what they do. They go buy a $5 backpack and spend another $5 on school supply to send you where? To the oppressor school to learn how to be a good slave. To learn how to be a good slave. To keep learning how to be weak. To follow weak leadership. That's what we're doing. We are following weak leadership and we are being destroyed for it. That's all I want to say, man.
I want to bring up one scripture real quick if I could.
Go ahead, man.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11. In those days, when they're out of Israel, wicked men, much like the so-called Christian leaders, the leaders of the nation of Islam, the conscious community leaders, all these different people who claim to want to better the lives of so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, but there's just always just something that they can't quite get over, and that's the money that our oppressor gives these so-called leaders.
That's a heavy deal. But like you were just saying, man, and that brings me back to what I was just saying earlier about like how they do backpack drives to, send you to the oppressor school. But we, like you just bring, and they try to brag about it too. We just spent $500,000, $2 million, $3 million on giving backpacks to all the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that we can find.
Right.
Well, how about this? How about you spend that same money and you open up our own school?
Right.
That's what the manager now Honey did. You know what I'm saying? He followed the mighty man above him and kept this tradition alive. And let me tell you something. The school was anything. The school was gone, man. The manager Honey kept this alive, and they went from having one school to no school to one school again to now a school in every goddamn major city, man. We opened up schools. Their Christian pastor wants to shut down. I'm not fault. He was talking about the money. That's what made me think about it.
You're exactly right about it. You understand? And that's exactly what this scripture is going to be touching on how it is sacrifices have to be made, like what Commander Junior Hunter has done.
Right?
You understand? I mean, I couldn't even fathom the sacrifices that brother has made in order to build up our people, and yet at the same time, like, obviously destroyed of our people want to come up against the Isupk. Saying, come up against your Christian pastor, come up against, your goddamn Muslim leader or your religious leader like that.
And they never come up against them. That's
Right. Right. Who persuaded many, saying, of course, just like the religious leaders we've been talking about. You know, saying that like within our communities, because we're such a spiritual people, and because of the power that has been given to these so-called, leaders, like they've got a tremendous amount of pull within our communities. They tell us to do one thing, we'll do without blinking because we think that we're serving the Lord.
right.
You understand? But yet, because of the indoctrination that it is that we've been in for so long, I mean, hell, over 400 years? Over. Like, goddamn. Because of that, our people are always so, just keen to come against the Isupk. They said we are the real ones that serve the most high power of this earth.
Goddamn right.
But because of the teachings that have been passed down through generations upon generations upon generations, like Christianity and being a Muslim or following African gods or Asian gods, any of that, that is a generational curse. And it's something that we gotta break free from. And the only way to do that is to come to the Isupk. Otherwise, these so-called leaders are going to continue to lead us further and further away from the Lord, destroying us more and more by the day.
So watch this. I feel like, man, we don't just need to call them so-called leaders anymore. We just need to call them straight up what they are, weak leaders.
Right.
No, they're not saying weak leaders. That's what they are. Because make no mistake about it, these are the leaders. These are the ones that are in power. We see them all the time with every goddamn devil president that gets elected. And they're shaking hands and kissing ass and taking pictures.
Right.
These are the weak leaders. The problem is weak leaders will get you killed. That's why the killing of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have not stopped.
Right.
Because of our weak leadership. Because of the plea bargaining and the plea, please don't kill us. Come on, I need to cut you off again. How do I never really on scripture.
I got something I was going to say. I don't even remember it.
You want the scripture? I want the scripture.
Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. And that's exactly what Martin Luther King did, is it not? Did he not sit there and fight and say that we need to all join hand in hand so we can have a better earth?
Yes, and if I could, whether we with them or without them, we still in goddamn sorrow.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say.
So, that's so heavy, because a slave thinks that by not having to provide things for yourself, that your sorrow is going to be lessened.
Right.
Like Jeremiah brought out before, like it's hard to go out and dig a well. It's hard to go out and hunt, to build buildings for people to stay in.
Build shelter.
You understand?
Provide protection.
Right. It's hard to do those kind of things. It's much easier to depend on another people that will provide these things for you, even if it means that your nation is going to be murdered at the hands of these same people. That's why we always say it's much easier to be a slave than to be free, than to be in the ISUPK. Because in this organization, in this school, we come up with solutions for our communities. Not only do we come up with the solutions for them, but we take action in solving the problems within our communities.
Right.
Like we have brothers from New York sending goddamn food barrels out to Haiti and Trinidad.
And if I could, the solutions that we come up to on our own,
Right.
they're straight out of the scriptures, man.
Right.
Something that your Christian pastor just totally looks over.
Right.
That's all I want to say, man. Let's talk about how they sit in the food to hate.
That's not an easy thing. To gather enough resources to feed a nation of people, let alone a small community. Can you imagine the native Indian reservations trying to feed themselves? Like they gotta outsource where it is they get their food from and their water from another nation. Like,
my fault. I don't mean to keep cutting you off. What you bring it out is such a heavy point. Not only is it hard to do all of them things, but the wicked ass kingdom that we live in, the oppressor passes laws that make it even harder.
Right.
He passes laws so you can't collect rainwater.
Right.
He passes laws so you can't grow gardens. He passes laws so you can't have animals. He passes laws so you can't do a lot of things that would make things easier.
Right.
Like, for example, I live in an inner city, right? I want to get some chickens, but because I live in an inner city, and even though I have a house, like if my neighbors complain about the chickens, the oppressor will come and make me get rid of the chickens.
Right.
Ain't that some stuff? Ain't that some stuff where you don't have enough land? But Reese, why don't I have enough land, you goddamn devil?
Right.
So look, I didn't even cut you off, but you was just dropping it so heavy. Like, you're right, that is hard. And it's even harder when you got a goddamn oppressor, a goddamn heathen that makes it even harder. But it's only hard for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. It's not hard for these heathens. In fact, they're given the tools to make it successful.
Right.
They're given the opportunity to open up businesses. And not only do they get the opportunity to open up businesses, but they get the opportunity to open it up in well-to-do neighborhoods that provide a lot of income. It so happens to be the black neighborhoods, whether you understand it or not. We have the most financial stability out of all these other nations. The problem is, we spend it with all the other nations.
Right.
Well, I didn't even cut you off on this a lot. You was just dropping so goddamn heavy.
I said that's heavy you brought up about how it is that we don't have land or our own resources. But it's funny because like these weak leaders, they don't direct our people in any kind of way. Like they're supposed to be the leaders. They're supposed to be the ones not only tell us how to conduct ourselves as a people, how to run our households, how to serve our power, but they're also supposed to tell us how it is that we are to manage our resources. Like you have black farmers out here, but guess what? They're going bankrupt. They are losing their land, having to sell their cattle and chickens and crops for dirt cheap because a goddamn devil rules over us. And these weak leaders are not telling our people, well, shoot, hey, look, you bring all those resources into this area or that area, you split them up, send them here or there, and, we're going to have these people from, another black farm from, I don't know, goddamn Idaho, bring in resources as well. We're going to create our own little business here. We're going to create our own
supermarket.
Yeah, supermarket. That's exactly what I was about to say. They're going to create their own supermarket, and we're going to give out resources to the black community for a reasonable price.
And if I could, right, then just then you created a shitload of jobs.
Right.
Now you got butchers.
Right.
Now you got stockmen. Now you got people to do everything. Somebody got to clean it. Somebody got to, mop it. Somebody got to maintain it. You got to get the grocery carts. Somebody got to place the orders. You created a plethora of jobs for only blacks, Hispanics, and Indians.
Right.
Because that's what we all need to hire. Because you go to Chinatown and you listen. I don't look at them when nobody says. And if you prove me wrong, man, I ain't never seen a Negro working in Chinatown.
Right.
I've never went into a Chinese restaurant and there's a nigga in there with the outfit on. You know how Wu-Tang wanted to be, Chinaman and stuff. I ain't never seen a cat in a Chinese restaurant with the Wu-Tang outfit on, with the karate outfit, doing the 36 chambers of death on the menu. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna see it. They only hire their own. And all of these restaurants and all of their businesses, all of these heathens, they keep the money circulating, man. And you know why? Because they don't have weak leadership. They have strong leadership, man. If I could, let me get just 3 minutes real quick. I don't mean to cut you off.
I ain't stopping.
No, I don't mean to keep cutting you off.
I'm
sorry, Chris. The water. I appreciate you, lady, man. But they don't have weak leadership. You understand? We do. I can give you some examples, man. I can give you proof. When I say this, you're gonna be like, yeah, you're right. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna want to argue against it. Your Christian spirit will say, I want to say he's wrong, but I've seen it. Because you have. What's the proof they don't have weak leadership? Look at what happened at the U.S. Capitol. The leadership said, man, we going. Trump said it. He's tweeted it. He probably didn't mean nothing of it. He just tweeted it. But they look at him as their designated leader, and they did exactly what he said to do. When he told them to storm the Capitol, they stormed it. When he told them to go home, they went home. You understand? Let me tell you something. You will never see a white man, a Chinese man, a Korean man, an African man die in the streets the way that we died in the streets. You will never have to worry about a George Floyd incident happening to an oppressor. You know why? Because white people are going to say the government just wants that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Have you brought that up? They brought it up on Black Watch News during Giuliani's radio show. There was a bunch of devil oppressors on top of the devil. They put their knee on his neck.
He freaked out.
Now, another devil, one of the cops came through, yanked his knee off so that he wouldn't choke him to death. And they went ahead with the regular procedures. Like, that's just heavy you brought that up.
I gotta get back on my Black Watch. I sleep so long. I be so tired. I be so tired. As soon as I get home, I'm slobbering face.
I said, that's bad because you'd always tell me, what, you see Black Watch?
That was back in my younger days. And they go, oh, now. I start off watching it before you know, I wake up like this morning.
Right.
It's a lot. I gotta start watching it on repeat because I'm missing all of this shit. And if you would send me the new link, because he did everything.
Right.
I don't have a new link. But the Most High Christ, you know what I'm saying? And that's how you know that you're one body, one mind, because I didn't even know that happened. You know what I'm saying? But I know the spirit of our enemies.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's who the hell they are, our enemies. And they're not going to watch one of their own die. They're not. Whether it was another cop that did it, or I got that civilian did it. You wouldn't. I heard them say it. Whether it was another cop that did it, or a civilian. I'll slot his cap. You know what I'm saying? They don't watch their own die. They don't watch their own suffer. They will not. And that's predicated to strong leadership. Y'all know Shabbat Shalom, so how you doing, Alon? You know what I'm saying? That's predicated on strong leadership. So you won't see an oppressor being choked out and what are you doing, dude? Get off of him like that. You can't do that. Right. And then it'll be some drunk that would run and kick a cop in the face, pow, and try to take off running. You know what I'm saying? That's what he do. That's what they do. They're not gonna sit around and watch their own die. They're not. But our leadership is so goddamn weak that that's what we're programmed to do. We're programmed to watch our brothers and sisters die right in front of us. Right. Because we have weak leadership. Because our leadership has never spoke up about that. When that goes down like that, our leadership will say, these goddamn filthy cops, how dare them do that? What the hell is wrong with them? They choke you don't see that anger. Instead, you see them on their holding hands. We shall overcome. You know what I'm saying? We gotta let the justice system take its course. When has the justice system ever took course for us, black man? It's been a Native Indian man. Right now, they stole land for our Gadite brothers. They stole it. They stole this whole goddamn country from our Gadite brothers, right? Gave them a little piece of it. And said, y'all live here. We ain't gonna bother y'all. And guess what they're doing now? They're taking that same goddamn land back. Running pipelines through it. They out there killing, macing, shooting, drowning. You name it, they're doing it. They're hiring private, they're militarizing city police. Like these are government police. What would it be? I guess it'd be city police. They are militarizing city police officers
city police
to be
government employees.
Yeah, to be government employees. And not only are they doing that, but they're basically hired mercenaries. Not from the government, but from a goddamn company that says, you're going to run this pipeline whether they like it or not. I know y'all gave them this land, but I'm white and rich, and I can do what I want to do. And what do? We shall overcome. Every black, listen, I'm not condoning violence at all. Don't misconstrue my words. But every black, Hispanic, and Native Indian should be out there showing the utmost support. We should be out there like, you're not going to touch my brother. You're not going to do this to him. This is what the oppressors do. The proof of that is no more. You never see them suffering the way that we suffer. You ain't never going to see George Floyd situation with any of these goddamn nations. You know, we supposed to be Africans, right? When have you ever seen an African? I can't believe he took his son. I can't believe he was just driving that car. He did nothing wrong. You don't see them. They don't suffer.
So, good. Or for some brothers and sisters that are so-called Native Indian or Hispanic, they're supposed to have came across on the I just lost the name of it. The land bridge coming from Asia. Right, it was supposed to be Asian. When is an Asian ever spoke up for our people? Right. And if they ever spoke up for the Hispanic babies in cages. Right. Or being sexually molested.
Still over there in the goddamn cages.
Right. Right. Being sexually molested and coming up missing, just like the children who were in the boarding schools. Or the sisters who were being raped and put into the sex trade, just like Native Indian and so-called African American sisters. Like, we gotta put the whole skin tone thing aside, right? And the the labels it is that our oppressor gives us, and realize that we are indeed the same people, right? And you look at this hell it is that we live in. It's the same goddamn hell. Ain't no other nation having women sex trafficked like Black, Hispanic, Native Indian women. Ain't no other nation having their children sexually molested and committing suicide from said molestation like Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian children. Ain't no other nation being affected by the different diseases on this earth like our people. Like we're more than what it is that America paints us as. We are the Lord's chosen people. Right. We're not just a bunch of thugs, savages, or goddamn drug dealers looking to rape women. Right. We are the Lord's chosen seed on the face of this earth, which means that we are better than these other nations.
Exactly right. Yeah, good. And what you bring it out is such a heavy point. the real gangster, the real drug dealer is the oppressor, right? And these other heathen nations. Nobody has more blood on their hands than the oppressor. The oppressor sells more drugs than a little bit. I remember the prohibition, right? How do you say prohibition? All right, so this is when they banned all liquor, right? But they make movies and brag about it and honor the fact that they broke laws to get liquor where it needed to be. You understand? What's that? John Gotti, right? John Gotti, he is one of the most respected gangsters on the face of the planet. And he killed more, listen, man, he killed more people than I can count. He's been implicated in so many goddamn deaths. But nobody vilifies that, though. That is not vilified. That is honored to show you how real gangsters are. And nobody calls him a thug, a gangster, a piece of crap, but black man. You ain't killed one man. You just sat your hands and smoke weed, and you're a gangster.
Because real quick, not to promote, being a drug dealer, a murderer, or an extortionist like our oppressor is, but that's so crazy you brought that up, because while they glorify their drug dealers, their murderers, their extortionists and rapists, these so-called mobsters, they vilify black, Hispanic, Indian mobsters. Like Frank Lucas.
Look how wicked he was. That was one more. If I could, I mean, we're not celebrating that. We saying there's a difference between when they do it is to be honored and respected.
Right.
When you do it, you're the most filthiest, disgusting. I can't believe. Look at this nigga here. You understand? And if I could, I don't mean to cut you off. But the difference in why that transpires like that, whether you like it or not, know it or not, understand it or not, is leadership. That's the difference between weak leadership and strong leadership. Because they leaders glorify it. Our leaders vilify it. White leadership is wrong. You know, he's making us look bad.
Right.
And we always victim blame for ourselves.
Right.
We like, yeah, we are the most worst. I can't believe we did that. But here's the thing. We don't never point the finger at the other nations. We don't never blame them. We don't never hold them accountable for their goddamn crimes.
Right.
They got 500 years worth of goddamn crimes, killing, murder, rape, pillage, robbery, drug selling, you name it. 500 years worth. And we don't never vilify it. It's only us, man. Only us. Like, prime example. And this is what came to me today, man. You know what I'm saying? I had a good day, man. Went to the gym, worked out. I was in the gym living for 4 hours. You know what I'm saying? I ain't bragging or nothing. I'm just saying. Fat nigga trying to get in shape. That's all. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even need to be that long, but I want to make sure that I get. Listen, I want to live forever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And not only that, but I want to destroy my enemies. It might be a day that one of my enemies catch me, and I don't have any of my pistols on me. I might have to give them some of these. I want to make sure I'm able to do something. You know what I'm saying? So we went to go get it in, right? And, after the gym, I had the showers and all that stuff, got dressed, and I threw on this shirt. This shirt says, Supreme Black Supremacy, right? And I'm just seeing people look at me in shock and awe. And I mean, when I say people, I mean our enemies as well as my own brothers and sisters. My own brothers and sisters is looking at me like my shirt is unforgivable.
Right.
They're like, Supreme Black Supremacist. How dare him say that on his shirt? You get what I'm saying? But the reason it bothered me is because this. Just a couple of months ago, that's what black people was all about. When it was about George Floyd, when it's about Orlando Castillo, when it's about black people, listen, it's about Supreme Black Supremacists whenever one of us got them guys and it's public news.
Right.
Well, I got a news flash for you, black man. Hispanic man, man. We die every goddamn day. Now everything makes the YouTube, and everything makes the Facebook. We die every goddamn day. And that was the difference between us and them. That's the difference between strong leadership, which can be found in Isupk under Commander Junior Hunter, and weak leadership, which is all through your Christian community, all through your Kemet community, all through your Muslim community, all through whatever religion you're following. It ain't nothing but weak leadership. And your weak leadership is going to get you killed. Because let me tell you something. You're only a black supremacist when it benefits you.
Right.
You're only about warfare when somebody else is willing to go to war and die with you. I'll die by my goddamn self if you eat me. Go ahead, man.
I just wanted to say, it's heavy you brought that up about your only black supremacist when it benefits you. That's how that's how Christian leaders were back there in like the 60s and 70s. They were supposedly about black power, about bringing black people together.
That's all you see was this everywhere.
Right. You understand? I think it was even they brought out a Black Watch. I think it was either Black Watch or German having class. I think it was Jesse Jackson. How it is that he had the black fist up and an afro and everything, about black unity. But it's because it benefited him during the time.
Right.
You understand? That's why it's so important that our people really find the leaders who have integrity.
Right.
Who have a real love for our people, because otherwise, we're just gonna be following a bunch of frauds. And it's something that we've been following for so long. You would think we'd get tired of it as a people.
Man. Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off. If I could, man, this reminded me of something that I brought out, and I'm gonna do a shameless plug. You know what I'm saying? This is something that you brought up on a podcast. You know what I'm saying? What's good? You know what I'm saying? Represent Southern Ohio. Shout out to Officer Republic Almighty, man. Hey, you know how we have a time to follow. You know what I'm saying? We get it in. We try to do our thing. But it's something that I brought out on Black Watch, and you just triggered it when you said that. You think people get tired of it? The Christian church has failed blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians for so long. When we are kids, we are like little kids. We are. We are worse than little kids. The scripture calls us sheep. We are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Right. Let me tell you something about a sheep. Let me tell you something about a little kid. We are worse than sheep than little kids. Because I'm telling you, I've seen this. I've seen it with little kids and with animals. You understand? I've seen it with sheep. You can only do so much to a sheep or to a little kid that even they understand. Can't trust them. You ever have a little kid? I've seen it. That was done to me. I've had adults promise me 1,000 things as a little kid. 1,000 things. Hey, I promise you I'm going to do this. I'm going to promise you I'm going to do that. I promise you Monday we're going to go get some ice cream. Monday night. Nah, can't do it. I promise you Tuesday. Tuesday going to be the day. I promise. Tuesday, nah, I can't make it. Wednesday. I promise you Wednesday. Wednesday's the day.
Wednesday, it's better in my schedule. How about that day?
Yeah, exactly. If it's better on my schedule, Wednesday be the day. Wednesday got nothing. Hey, listen, I promise you, Thursday is it. You get what I'm saying? And I've seen little kids. I was that little kid. Right. People make broken promises. Eventually, you start believing them. And that's one thing that I've never done in my life. So, yeah, if I may. How many times have I promised you anything? And you know why I never promised you anything? Hey, he didn't have to think about it. Never. I never promised him anything. Never. Hey, I promise you we don't do this. I never promised him. I never promised my daughter. I never promised my friend. You know how people like promise me.
Trying to get caught.
Listen. Because the one thing that you don't want to do is disappoint somebody. You understand? Because as a kid, I was disappointed. I'm like, man, this. You start to, and I can't compare it then, but I can compare it now. We've grown. We got the truth. We understand. But that was weak leadership that was promising me things.
Right.
That was weak leadership promising me things to try to call me from, being upset and being mad. I know you're mad, but I promised tomorrow's today. Right. And as a nation, we fall for the Holy Ghost every year. With the presidents, with whatever new Christian pastor takes over their old church, we fall from it every day. And like you said, when is enough of goddamn enough? Right. When are we going to stop falling for it? You can't even do a goddamn sheep like that. Listen, if a sheep, this door right here, right? I know y'all can't see the door, but there's a door right in front of us. If a sheep, you bring a sheep to this door every day, and every day you jump out of there, that sheep is eventually going to be like, I'm not going through that door. I know the second I come through that door, it needs to attack me.
So if I could, real quick, just based off the sheep, like that damn near shows you how it is we've been conditioned worse than animals.
Yeah, right.
Because, like, a sheep will see how his brothers are being manhandled out of a pen to be slaughtered, and they'll instantly be like, "Yo, I ain't messing with these people." Like you said, run out of here. But when it comes to a Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, like we try to be around those people that prepare us for slaughter. They say, right. We try to, make friends with them, so maybe they'll just allow a person to live another day.
Don't kill me.
Right.
I went back to that. Don't kill me. Kill him.
Right.
Don't kill me. Yeah, with the sheep said, don't touch none of us. Everybody, run this way.
Right. You understand? They're all scattered in different directions, but when it comes to our people, due to the leadership it is that we've been under for so long.
You mean that weak leadership?
Right. The weak leadership, Salakia. Like the scriptures say, is Israel a homeborn slave? That's exactly how we are as a nation.
Damn, that's a heavy one you just brought out. That's heavy. Because that's exactly what we are. We are a homeborn slave because the proof is in the pudding. The Christian church has been feeling us since the 60s. Every year, they tell us to do anything and everything that won't benefit us as a nation. And we do it. How is it that now a minority means transgenders and everybody else but you, Black man, Hispanic man, every other nation has more than you. And I'm going to say, the gay people is the nation. What's the proof of that? They have leadership. Right. How you going to, listen, Black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, how you going to let the gay nation have stronger leadership than you? That should be offensive to every straight Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. You should be calling your leader right now, like, listen, I was watching the Isupk class, I don't know who the niggas was, but they said something that's the truth. The gay leadership out here is stronger than the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian leadership that's based out of Christianity, that's based out of any of these religions. And here in the UK, whether it's Christianity, which is, number one, or if it's Muslim, atheism, Scientology, Kemet community, whatever it is, it's all Christianity to us because it's all about worship of white supremacy. Even the Kemet community is worship of white supremacy, right? Right. Why? Because they follow the oppressor's customs. That's why. How is it that all these other factions, right? And like I said, man, we should be ashamed that the gay community leadership is stronger than ours. Right. Like gay people, you can't say nothing about gay people. Ask the baby. Ain't that his name? Yeah. Yeah, right, the baby. I was calling that nigga Little the Baby. I was like, Little the Baby? He's like, don't look, it's just the baby.
Say, ask any Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian who has ever spoke up against the LGBTQ community. Right. Like, it don't matter what their position is, they are always shut down and have to immediately apologize. I'm sorry. Please don't kill me. Saying, like you said, that's because they have strong leadership, just like Sodom and Gomorrah. It is a nation who was able to conquer a vast amount of territory. That's because they had a hell of a leadership. Right. Just like the LGBT community. And guess what? They're also able to take over a vast majority of territory. That's why it is they are so widespread throughout the United States. Right. Why they're so widespread within the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian communities. And of course, we already know Africa. Like, they was the first LGBTQ community. You understand? The Asians, the Arabs. Rome might be the first. Say Rome might be the first. Hey, all I know is in Egypt, they was shooting their own seed into their mouth. Hey, you're right. Goddamn, but that's a tough one. That's what we were talking about earlier. That's 1A and 1B. Right. That's hey, we know Rome got their culture from the Egyptians. Right. So, right. Yeah. Hey, you know our family likes to steal everything. He likes to make things up. Hey, my God, that originated in Africa. Right. So brothers and sisters claiming to be African. Hey, listen, and I still ain't seen no Judite with that dumbass plate they lit.
Well, you can, you know.
Slack me. I'm waiting to see them strap a wooden rod to their head and do some kind of half-naked dance. That's
Hey,
what
why
I'm
ain't you
doing.
so-called Kemet communities taking them done baths
Right.
and piss baths? I'm
Right.
so waiting to see it.
Right.
They're on Facebook Live for everything else.
I said, why ain't you following after your gods and shooting your seed into your mouth?
Right.
Why ain't you doing that? Because you know that it ain't right.
Right.
That's why when brothers like Sinetta battle Captains Cesariak and Patazar across the line,
Right.
like it don't make any goddamn sense. Like that's not the people we should be turning to for leaders. Like the conscious community, they are not leaders for our people.
Right.
They will tell you to follow not only a God who shoots his seed into his own mouth, but they'll tell you to follow a God who sexually molests children and another man.
Right.
Like that's not something that we want in our communities. And if it is, I mean, you should just get up out of here. You should do like Bill Cosby, claim to be, you know, disassociate yourself from our people,
Right.
and get the hell up out of here.
Right.
That's all I can. That's the only words I can come up with for that because it is disgusting.
You know what? And at the end of the day, man, everything that Officer Rod Von Gad, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm so used to calling him Von Gad. Everything that he spoke on, and everything that I mentioned, these are the effects of weak leadership. You understand? When you've got weak leadership can only lead you to death.
Right.
Why is that? Because weak leadership doesn't want you to have victory. Because weak leadership is afraid to die. Weak leadership is saying, don't kill me. I don't want my enemies to get me. I don't want my enemies to find me. I don't want my enemies to have me. Let me tell you something. Black man is better than this man. Whether you know it or not, whether you're not understanding it or not, you have been a POW for the last 500 years here in Babylon. You have been a POW. The enemies have you. We are got by our enemies. Go ahead, Brother John. Yeah, most I could. I know I've been getting you up all night, so cut in whenever you want to.
I know
I sure ain't let you speak now once.
That's a lot when UPK sold them.
Man, right. Most I could. But like, man, like for King Saul to be like, kill me, I don't want my enemies to have me. Like, man, that is the same spirit of your Christian pastor. Your Christian pastor is like, I don't want my enemies to have me. But let me tell you something. The scriptures say this, and this is coming from your Christian pastors. The Christian pastors don't want the enemies to have them. The scriptures say this place is not your rest. When it says this place is not your rest, what the hell place is it talking about? Because we are gathered in all the lands of our goddamn enemies. We are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, and none of that belongs to us, man.
Right.
You understand? So we are already POWs. For people that don't know what that means a prisoner of war. Because everything that transpires in your life is a war act. Whether it be good or bad, it is an act of war. Point blank, period. Every breath that you take, every move that you make, it is about warfare. I know you don't understand it because your Christian pastor didn't tell you this. Because your Christian pastor is a weak leader. And by him being a weak leader, he's not trying to let you know that this is war. Because the more that he conveys you to be soft and weak and oppressed, the less of a threat you are to your enemies. You understand? The less of a threat that you are. You are not supposed to be a threat. That's your Christian pastor's job to make sure that you're not a threat. You understand? But our job is the same job as Christ had. Christ wanted you to be the most dangerous thing on the face of the planet. I ask people this all the time. This is what I ask Christians. And this is a triple mark. I'm going to give you my secret to cut the Christian. This is my secret to cut the Christian. You understand? I ask a Christian this because the one thing they say is, you know, Christ loved everybody. God loved everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because a Christian thinks that Christ and God is the same person. They think Christ is God and God is Christ.
Right.
You understand? That's because they don't understand the Bible. But that's one thing they believe. So when they say God loves everybody, they're really talking about Christ. That's what they really believe. He gave his only begotten Son to die for everybody. They killed him. They killed his only begotten son so you can love everybody and we can live here in peace. I said, hey, no sweat. So my question is this. If God loved everybody and Christ loved everybody and he gave his only begotten son to die for us, my question is this. Why did they kill him in the first place?
Right.
If God was loved everybody and he was here for everybody, and it didn't matter what you did, and your love was all, love was all that matters, why did they kill him? Nobody can ever answer that question. Nobody, I didn't have people try to answer. Well, because they hated him. Why did they hate him? I thought God was all love. And I thought God loved everybody, and Christ loved everybody. Christ was not here for no warfare. Christ, he loved everybody according to Christian theology. He went out here for warfare. He came for the oppressor, he came for the Chinese, he came for the Japanese, the Korean, you know what I'm saying, the African. He came for everybody. Why did they kill him? And I kill him with this every time. The reason he killed him is because he wasn't here for everybody. And I asked him this, if I'm here for you, if I'm here to make sure that you have everything that you need, if I'm here to take care of you, if I'm here to raise you up, if I'm here to take care of you and your people, if I'm here to make sure that you ain't got to worry about a goddamn thing, if I'm here to breathe for you, you understand? Why would you kill me?
Right.
And they always say this, I wouldn't. So why did they kill Christ? Because Christ, and this is about to blow your mind. I know Christians, we're going to get, listen, we get a lot of comments from Christians here soon. I know this, listen, Christians, just bear with me. The reason they killed Christ is because he only came for blacks, Hispanics, and Native.
Right.
They killed Christ because of this. He was not a weak leader. Yahweh Mashiach was not a weak leader. He was not a weak leader. They tried to convert him. Listen, Satan tried to convert him. Satan said, listen, I'll give you all of this. Christ was like, what? You can't give me nothing. You don't have the power to give me nothing. You understand? But when Satan says that to the Christian pastor, he believes it. He believes that a couple of cars and a couple $1 million in some mansion is worth his integrity. He believes that a car that's worth more than you, black man, Hispanic man, any Indian man. But that ain't what the Most High said, that ain't what Christ said. Christ said this, that you are more valuable than gold, than jewels, than rubies, man. Listen, man. Listen, it gets no better than that, man. I know my soldiers is more valuable than anything, man. I know that for a fact. All my soldiers, listen, man. Every man that part of me, and I say this, and I'm not trying to sound like an asshole or sound arrogant. I know for a fact every soldier that part of me knows that I would die for them without even a second thought to it. Does anybody question that? It's not a question. Before they get to my soldiers, they have to go through me. You understand? That Christian pastor don't feel that way. These weak leaders don't feel that way.
Right.
There it is right there.
Right.
Take them. I just want to live.
Right.
That was King Saul. Don't let them have me. They can tell me I'm going to torture you every day. Hey, do what you got to do. Where Bob Gad at? Where who at? I see you teaching classroom. I don't know what you're talking about.
Good.
Go ahead.
There were brothers and sisters when you read the book of Maccabees who went through absolute hell.
Man, woo.
Sam, brothers and sisters who had their hands chopped off, tongues cut out, who were cooked alive, all because they wanted to eat pork. So just imagine turning your back on your nation or selling out your brother.
Right.
The only ones who can claim that we'd be willing to go through that kind of hell is the Isupk Indianapolis.
Yeah, right.
Ain't no religious organization out here about to do that. You know what I'm saying? These religious organizations, they shut their doors when there was a goddamn hurricane going on. When there was civil unrest. You think that they're going to sit there and get tortured? Like, can you imagine how horrible it would be to be cooked alive?
Yeah, in my mind, the only thing I be thinking is, man, I got a glorious death. You know? Maybe I'm just stupid like that.
You understand?
I'd be like, God damn, they mad at me. I wouldn't fold at all.
Right. You understand? Have your hands cut off,
Hey,
your eyes scooped out.
in the words of Buster the Butters, I don't need them no way.
You understand? Hey, reincarnation, I know I'm gonna come back with better hands. With a better
Hey,
tongue.
Uncle Buster tell me that all the time. You don't need the legs, you don't need the arms, you don't need none of that.
Right.
You understand?
Like that's something that these weak leaders are not willing to do. They're not willing to make that kind of sacrifice. They don't even want to sacrifice their pockets. What makes you think they'd be ready to sacrifice their lives? Like these weak leaders remind me of that video of there was some cat who was talking about how he was gonna ride and the niggas was gonna ride with him.
Yeah, he's like, and if I gotta die,
Yeah.
niggas gonna die with me. He's like,
yeah, that's these so-called that's these weak leaders. When they even get a whiff of talk being of them having to die for their people, they're just like, what am I gonna do for these niggas?
right,
For these spics and these savages?
right.
No, I'm straight. You do what you want with them. And that's the weak leadership that we've always experienced as the children of Israel.
If I could, right before we close it out, right before we shut it down, I'm gonna paraphrase the scripture. I believe this is Paul said this, that he would be cursed for his brothers, that he will suffer all the pain that his brothers will live. I'm not sure. Was that Paul who said that? Or was it Peter? I'm paraphrasing the scripture. I'll have it for you next week. But if you would about that real quick, I just want to get that together. Here we go. Bear with me, but I know I'm a paraphrasing. He said, listen, I'll be a curse from my brothers that, Paul. It was Paul that said it. I'm paraphrasing the scripture.
You ain't read it for
Yeah, if you got it, go ahead and read it. You know what I'm saying? Paul said, listen, man.
I got it.
Most of our let's get it.
Book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 3. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh.
According to who?
According to the flesh.
Listen, that means that you got to share the same blood. So every black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, he said this, man. This is what a strong leader feels. I know for a fact. I know this without ever asking or without them ever saying it. I know for a fact, every general, every captain, 13, 10,000, listen, if they could save this nation and they was the only one that had to die, they would do it.
Right.
They would do it. And these niggas are so hardcore, it's a lot. These brothers are so hardcore that that's the spirit that we have. Like, I have no problem with giving up my life, man. Listen, that's one thing that I don't want to do is die a coward. I refuse to die a coward. In fact, Shemya, if I could, what's the slogan? They can't hear you. No cowards, no excuses. No cowards, no excuses. Listen, the last thing you want to do is die a coward. The last thing you want to do is be a weak leader, man. If I could give up my life tonight, tomorrow, so none of my brothers and sisters will have to suffer, I would do it. But I don't give a damn what they do to me. What they gonna do? Torture me? Who cares? I've been tortured my whole goddamn life. I was born in this goddamn wicked ass kingdom. I was born in Babylon. I've been tortured my whole life. I watch my brothers and sisters die every day in torture. Watching for a sister to have to watch her husband be killed in front of her is torture. For that child to have to watch their father die in front of them is torture. For that family member to have to experience that, for you to have to sit back and watch and then see the goddamn oppressor say he's not guilty, he did with his job, it's torture.
Right.
You understand? So who the hell am I to act like my life is so precious, man? My life means so much to me. I can't go through no pain and no suffering when my brothers and sisters is going through pain and suffering every day, man. Goddamn that pressure. Goddamn all that, man. We're going to keep fighting for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians until we give up the ghost, man. That's just what it is. We don't follow no weak leadership in this thing. We follow the mightiest of the mighty, the strongest of the strong, the most honorable of the honorable. You understand? This is the Isupk Indianapolis. I don't know what the hell you niggas follow, but this is it. You understand? And when you come into this school, once you get that all poured on your head, you turn into King David on this one. You get that all poured on your head. They said from that day forward, the spirit of the Lord was with them. That's what it is around here, man. This UPK are back, man. So look, I know how to put on the past time, man. With that being said, we're about to shut it down by that. Anything else like that? Alright. With that being said, we're gonna come up turn the class over to Trooper Shinya. Select Trooper Azar or Yashia. Let's hook it up.
ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, spread out of 1 West, 125th Street, home of New York. Louder. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is the commandments, Numbers 18 to 21, Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 to 10 in the Hebrew, means 10th in the Hebrew, Mayashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest funds, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations.
I can't think of none off the top of my head, so we just gonna keep walking. Keep walking.
Remind Aki and Aki walk to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school and start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headbands, with scarves. And with that being said, imagine, which means to rise. Wapanya Hakidam, which means to turn and face the east. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawu, Shabbat Shemayim, Wadash, Hayah, Shukah, Yahweh, Malakukah, Taba'ah, Watazayaka, Hayah, Aisha, Barakazah, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nadun, Lunaw, Call, Yawon, Wasalakanaw, Wawatanaw, Kasalakanaw, Wawatinaw, Wala'a, Nabayanaw, Wanisai, a ball, Abushayanaw, Bayan, Brad, Kaya, Laka, Amalak, Wa'ala, the park, Aman. The Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us of our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Blessings in Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh. Wayah Washah. Wam Yaka'al. Wala'ayim. Matazab Ya'ah. Alwap Yahan. Ha'alwap you. Hasaranyam. Ha'kwantazayanyam. Ha'kayayanyam. Walawap you. Yahweh. Ba'ashim. Yahushah. The water. Aman. Blessings in English. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh
And Yahushua.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angel.
And the angel.
Commanding General Yahweh.
Commanding General Yahweh.
The general.
The general.
The captain.
The captain.
The officer.
The officer.
The trooper.
The troopers.
And the sister.
And the sisters.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahushua.
Thank
you.
So be it.
So be it.
Sorry. Sorry. Which means to turn and face the teacher. We're going to get a certain courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Michael Shabbat, Imagine, Barak, Yahweh, Shimmy, Shabbat, that's what the top. So we're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters watching online. Men of Israel, Michael Shabbat, Imagine, Barak,
Yahweh Shabbat, Shimmy, Shabbat.
that's what the top. Class dismissed.
Oh,